Ms. Peggy D, how would you explain the Holy Spirit? How would I explain the Holy Spirit? I would explain that it is the power of God that comes out from him, that is what animates all things, what creates and makes real all things, right? It's the life-giving force. So just for example, like in Genesis 1:1, when he says, um, when he says that the spirit in Genesis 1:2, the spirit hovered over the deep of the water. Well, it wasn't the Father or the Son, which I believe both of them existed at that point, and it wasn't either one of them literally just hovering over the water, right? Like they just fell off their surfboard and they're just floating. No, it's the power of God that can move, right? The same concept like in Acts 2, where they saw the Spirit dropping as if it was tongues of fire. That's an idiomatic descriptive phrase to be like what looks like little patches of fire dropping down, right? Just like when in Exodus 33 in the tent of meeting, that the angel would come down in a huge bright cloud of glory. And if he could cause things to happen as the Spirit flew through him and manifested through him according to what was going on, for example, like in Leviticus chapter 9, when Nadab and Abihu came to offer the wrong incense and the fire came out from the angel from the tent of meeting and killed those two guys. Okay, so it's the power of God that can be manifested to do stuff. So this is where it is in all of creation. It is what created the levels of the firmament above us. It's what created the area that we live in. It's what, there weren't, on day 3 of creation, when all the trees and the shrubs were made and the earth was being formed, I don't believe that was a bunch of angels coming down here and getting their hands in the dirt and planting trees and stuff and the seeds. I don't believe that at all. I believe that is just like we see the breath of life that went into Adam, who was just made from the dirt, and then he became a living soul, Genesis 2:7. The Spirit of God in a like a non-tangible form, almost like Wi-Fi, like your internet Wi-Fi, carries information and power with it to accomplish a task. Okay, it's a very basic analogy because it's a modern analogy, but Wi-Fi. Did you guys know that the general premise that we use for our phones to do Wi-Fi today? Okay, that general premise is just a glimpse. It's just a small version of what Tesla had actually created 100 years ago. Tesla wanted to actually take the energy from the ether or from the air and redirect it so that you could have electricity in your oven or in your refrigerator or in your toaster in your house, way before the power grid was set up by Edison and all that stuff, and we had power going through the power lines. He had already figured out a way to do it without wires. So he's basically just mimicking on a small scale what the Father can do with his Spirit throughout all of creation, where he can send power to accomplish something literally and information in the same stream to raise Adam from the dirt and breathe the breath of life of him, right? To create all the seeds and all the trees and everything on the ground that bears seed on day 3, right? To form and fasten the firmament. You see, guys, the picture behind me? To form and fasten the firmament on day 2. So this is the power of God, the Spirit of God, that he can create things without hands-on, if you will, right? He can do it just by the power of his Spirit, because Kingdom Truther is talking frequencies, and that's essentially what we're talking. Yeah, it's like frequencies, but it's the Father that's doing it. He can do all things through speaking, right? So he's commanding the Spirit as he sends it through his breath, through his speech. Hope that's a decent answer.